Hi ladies, it's been a minute since I've been live, so I'm gonna allow a couple minutes or seconds or whatever for some people to join. But whether you join this live while I'm filming or watch it later, first I want to come in and check in because I know it's been a minute since I've been live. So hello to everyone. You all have been on my mind and in my thoughts, and on my heart. I've taken a little time away, from the group and from taking on new clients, just mostly working with clients that I've been working with for a while and living life. I think we all have seasons where maybe we need to go inward or slow down or really just listen to what God's next direction for our life is going to be. So I think that's where I've found myself for the last several months. But I will be slowly ramping up my energy here in the group again. I've been doing some studying and some learning on different things. I shared on a post recently that I've been learning a lot about narcissistic personalities and how they seem to almost be a perfect match in the relationship world for your overgivers, your big hearts, your empaths, your highly sensitive people, and how to not only navigate those relationships, because sometimes you can't avoid them. Sometimes they are your family member, or there's someone who's at your job and you're not just going to leave your job because of them. Other times it's in your love life, and you do have a little bit more opportunity to make decisions, to avoid those connections or to end those relationships. But I've been doing a lot of learning and reading and studying, and I want to bring forth what I've been learning and share that with you all, because I feel like it's going to be valuable and important, and because it resonates with me, because I identify as someone who's highly sensitive, someone who is notoriously an overgiver and the caregiver in my family and friend groups, and always looking to help others and put others before myself. And we just really need to know that there are people out there who prey on personality types like that, and rather than expecting the world to change, we need to know how to discern people's intentions better and how to protect ourselves from those connections so that we are not taken advantage of. And actually, give me 1 second. I'm going to close my window because my neighbors are playing music, and I think that it might be loud in the background. So just give me just a moment. I'm going to go close the window. Okay, I'm back. So, first, I just want to check in, let y'all know where I've been, and like I said, that I've been thinking about you and thinking what I wanted to bring forth next, what was going to be most helpful, what I can take from my own life and take from what I see happening around me with women in the dating world, in the social media world, in pop culture, and how to translate that into information and lessons that will be valuable to you all. So that's kind of what I've been doing, and I'll be bringing forth more of that soon. Today, I was inspired to go live because I've been watching this show called Love is Blind. So let me know if you've ever seen this show. First, I forgot to say this in the beginning. If you're watching this live or in replay, just say hey, let me know where you're watching from so I can greet you and thank you for watching. Getting back into the topic, I've been watching the show Love is Blind, season 7 on Netflix. And I've seen the show before. I think I've watched one other season, but it was some time ago, maybe like a year or two ago. And I started watching it because I saw somebody reviewing it online, and I was like, ooh, that sounds juicy. Let me tune in and see, how it all unfolds and what they're talking about. And if you've never seen Love is Blind, it's short synopsis. This cohort of men and cohort of women, they date, but they can't see each other. They date in these rooms called pods, and the pods have a shared wall, so they talk through the wall, but they don't actually know who they're talking to in terms of what they look like until after the man proposes to the woman. So that right there forces you to fast track everything, because if you're talking to someone and you really like them, you want to see what they look like, you kind of have to propose in order to do that. So I've watched the show. I'm at the point where everybody who's going to be coupled up and proposed to, that's already happened, and now they're going back to their lives and meeting their families. And first I just want to say, shows like this because this isn't the only show like this. There's the 90 Day Fiance and the Love at First Sight and all of that. Keep in mind that they're entertainment. Keep in mind that this is not real life, that this is crafted and curated for our entertainment. So we will find it interesting. So we will watch. They infuse drama. They infuse certain elements to make it more entertaining. So be mindful of that. And then also something I wanted to note is I noticed, even me, while watching it, I found myself at certain points smiling and getting butterflies and empathizing with the feelings and emotions that I saw the folks on the show feeling and expressing, because I can remember what it's like dating and you just met someone and you're really excited about them and you want to talk all the time and you just feel so enamored with them and you're daydreaming about the future and the first time you say I love you and all of that. So I can remember what that's felt like, because I've, had my experiences with that. And it can really tug at your heartstrings. It can really trigger an emotional reaction within you watching these shows. So keep that in mind as you're watching, that this is entertainment. This is not real life. And even though the concept of dating without knowing who it is you're talking to visually may have an appeal to it, because it may help you be a little bit less superficial and focus more on the person and their personality and getting to know them. This is all happening within a very short amount of time. It's condensed, it's edited for TV, and at the end of the day, it's entertainment. So would I suggest something like that in real life? No. But is it interesting to watch? Sure. Second thing that I noticed while watching it is how quickly the participants got to saying I love you and feeling extremely bonded to the people that they were talking to. And I'm getting something that's saying I have a slow connection. Let me just check my Wi-Fi really quick. I want to make sure that y'all can hear me and see me. I hope it's good now. But I was very interested at how quickly, because they don't really tell you how long this is unfolding, like over the course of how many weeks. I'm assuming it's not more than a month that they're in the pod dating. And keep in mind, they've left their homes, they've left their jobs, they're living in this shared household. And then all throughout the day, they go on dates in the pods with each other, and then they just kind of eliminate who they no longer want to continue going on dates with until they find their favorites. And I noticed that after those intense dates and conversations that, the ones who progressed on to proposals and things like that, they were like, oh my God, I love you so much. I just love you. You're just a beautiful person. You're this, you're that. And what that made me think of is how, especially as women, we can really lean into our emotions. So I want to be careful how I phrase this, because it's not to say that it's impossible to love somebody after talking to them day in and day out for 2 weeks. But looking at logic, looking at that a successful relationship is made up of more than just feelings, that is very quick to make assumptions on who's right for you. It is very quick to assume that this person and you share the same values. It is quick to make the assumption that everything they're telling you that they believe and how they move and what they do is actually how they feel, how they move, and what they do. Because again, you haven't taken the time to observe what they do. You're going by what they're saying. And I want to use the metaphor of going on a job interview. So none of us go on a job interview and say, yeah, once I get this job, I'm not going to be on time. I'm going to be 10 to 15 minutes late every day and stroll in here with coffee. And there's going to be times where I'm away from my desk and I'm talking to my coworkers and I'm taking long lunches. And, I may or may not catch an attitude if you ask me to do something that I don't think I should have to do, or that falls outside of my job description, or, I'm not going to make a scene if I don't get along with somebody and refuse to work with them. Like, nobody goes on a job interview and says stuff like that, because you wouldn't get the job. So keeping that in mind, when you first meet people and you're asking them questions about themselves, there is a right answer. Now, sometimes people are honest and they tell you things that when you hear it, it is a red flag, or it does trigger you to say, you know what, this is not going to work for me. But we all know how to put on our best face in an interview, because no one wants to be rejected. No one wants to be the one who's eliminated because they've said or done the wrong thing. But we all also know you can't keep that up forever. So this is why you cannot rush the process when you are dating and vetting. You have to allow time. And that's one thing this show does not allow for is, again, it's dating, courtship, marriage, all in a vacuum, all happening within, I think, a matter of a couple months, if that. And of course, it's not realistic because it's TV, but so many people are doing this in real life. So many women are having all night conversations with men that they just met on the app, and in a matter of a month, she's hooked. In a matter of a month, she's convinced that that is her man, they're meant to be together, that they're twin flames, that they are soulmates, that he is everything she's been looking for, and she has thrown out her dance card. She's no longer even considering other men. She's no longer thinking that anyone else could potentially be a fit for her. She's focusing all her efforts on him. And why that's a problem is you don't really know him. And we have to get in a place where we understand and accept that there is no shortcut. No matter how you feel, no matter what emotions are triggered in you when you're talking to this person, understanding that you cannot shortcut or cut down the process of getting to know someone, that this has to unfold over a series of months, not even weeks, months. Okay? Stop dating and liking a guy to the 10th degree and then being hooked on him to the point where you're no longer able to discern and reason whether or not he's a good fit for you. Because once you're sold, you start looking past things you need to pay attention to because you want this to be a fit, because you've already decided he's right for you, because you've already decided that he is what you're looking for. So you are editing out the things that would conflict with that in favor of the outcome you want, which is that he's the right guy. And you find yourself compromising on things you don't want to compromise on, overlooking bad behaviors that you should not be overlooking. You find yourself sometimes turning off your own emotions to things like, hey, he hasn't called me in a few days, but we had such a great start. And he was so sweet in the beginning. He was so this, he was so that. He said all the right things. I felt all the feels. So now when I see sides of him I don't like, I want to believe that that's not really him. I want to believe maybe he's having a bad day, or maybe I just need to show him grace, or he had a rough childhood, or, he had a hard day at work, or whatever excuse you want to make. But you've stopped evaluating and assessing him sooner than you should have. That evaluation and assessment period, I believe, should last, when you're talking about vetting, should last for that entire first year. Because you need to see how a man is in different settings, in different seasons, in different life situations. Because anyone can tell you, yeah, I believe in being financially responsible and saving, and I want to buy a house, and I'm a hard worker, I'm a provider, I want to settle down and be in a serious relationship. I want to marry someone and have kids, and I want to be a provider and take care of all the bills, and I don't want my woman to work, and I just want her to raise the kids and be happy and take her on dates and vacations and pray together and all this. Men know what women want to hear. Men know what women want to hear, because 95 to 99% of women all want to hear the same thing. They know exactly what to tell you. They know that you're looking for a man who wants to be committed to one woman. They know that you're looking for a man who wants to cut off all exes, cut off all other prospects, and just focus on you. And not have you paying for things, and not be controlling, and be loving and tender and romantic and spiritual and kind, and embrace your children and have more children if that's what you want, and treat you right. And he doesn't have any mental health issues. He doesn't have any personality flaws that are going to make life uncomfortable for you that he's not addressing. Men know what to present in order to get your mind and your heart open to him, and to get your emotions stirred up. And once your emotions are stirred up, it's a wrap. It's a wrap on your logic. It's a wrap on you being more likely to eliminate him. It's a wrap on any sort of discernment kicking in that would lead you to say, no thanks. Men know what to say. It's not hard. Just like we know what to say in an interview. When we go in and we hype up our best skills, we've practiced our interview answers, we're dressed well, we smell good, we brought 3 copies of our resume, we're smiling and kikiing, and our hands are crossed in our lap, and we know what to do to present our best selves, and don't think the same thing isn't happening in the beginning stages of a relationship. And that's what the people on the show Love is Blind are seeing, is they saw the best parts of the person that they were dating. And just because someone lets you in and they have a vulnerable moment with you, or they share something that feels vulnerable, or they cry or whatever, that doesn't mean you know them. It means you had a moment where they shared something. But knowing someone is so multifaceted, and it takes time, because you can know how someone moves in a certain environment, but how are they when they're tempted? How are they when they're stressed out? How are they when they have family problems or money problems or work problems? How are they when it comes to navigating priorities in their life? So friendships, hobbies, relationships, family, personal pursuits. How are they when you are navigating that and you have a little less time available for them? What are they like when they're tired? What are they like when their money's funny? What are they like when there's drama in their life and they don't know how to deal or cope or manage? What are they like when they're deep in their vices? Whether it's overeating, overindulging in alcohol, or other substances, or overindulging in going out and partying, or needing attention from women, or sex, or whatever. There's so many things that people use to make themselves feel better. Food, sugar, whatever. Even I've seen some people like go to the gym and like all they care about is going to the gym all the time, or gaming, video games. You're on the game all the time. Like you don't know someone in such a short amount of time, and you need to give yourself an opportunity to observe the man and stay in a place where you're practicing healthy detachment, where you are allowing yourself to like him, but also understanding that you don't know him yet. You're getting to know him, and the getting to know him process is going to take place over months. I always say, give it a year. Give it a year. The same way when you start a new job, they tell you to give it a year before you really feel confident, like you know the job and you know what you're doing. Give it a year when you're dating a man for you to really know him. And keeping that in mind, that should help you manage your emotional investment, because I think that's where a lot of women get themselves in trouble. They get too emotionally invested. They start going off in their mind with their imagination and their hopes for the future, and really trying to push things in the direction of a certain outcome. Like, I want commitment with this guy. I want the I love you. I want the proposal. I want the marriage. I want the family with him. And when you are so outcome driven and motivated with a particular man and you don't really know him yet, you're going to overlook red flags. You're going to see what you want to see, and you're going to miss things that you need to pay attention to, whether they are yellow lights and you just need to proceed with caution or look a little further into it, or it's a red light and you need to be stopping and going in the other direction. So that's something that obviously they don't do on this show because, again, it's entertainment. But so many women in real life don't do this. And you really need to. It's very important. And it will save you a lot of headaches and heartaches and being stuck on a man that you shouldn't be stuck on. Because also, and this is something I've been learning a lot more about, there are hormonal reasons why we make certain decisions, why we are bonded to certain men, why we become addicted to certain men, addicted to knowing what he's doing all the time, addicted to not wanting to let him go, wanting to know who's he talking to, going through his comments, going through his phone. I want to know where he's at all times. I need you to share your location. I feel insecure if you go all day without talking to me. You feel panicky if you think you guys are about to break up. Like, there's a hormonal component to all this. This isn't just you being crazy and you just not knowing how to handle rejection or problems in relationships or when things go sour. There is an addictive component that's going on within you. You are responding the way an addict would, because biologically that's what's going on in your body. Certain hormones are being released. Certain hormones are low or high, too low, too high, higher than they should be or lower than they should be. And that is influencing how you are responding in the relationship and in the situation. There's a study that says people with OCD have notoriously low serotonin levels. And when women who are empaths or women who are highly sensitive get in relationships with men who are narcissists, abusers, psychopaths, sociopaths, and all of that, their serotonin levels are low also. So when they are responding to how these men are treating them and showing up in the relationship, and it's bad and she shouldn't like it, she should want to run, but she's doing the exact opposite, it's because she's caught in an obsessive loop, just like someone with OCD, where they're caught in a compulsion and they can't stop thinking about it. They can't let it go. They can't rest. They can't shift their focus elsewhere. And this is about brain chemistry. This is about hormones and your body and the way your body's responding to what's going on internally. It's not all about the external. So with this in mind, know that there's a variety of things influencing how you respond in certain situations and relationships. So you need to do your best to make sure you're making wise decisions while you're sober-minded. Make sure you give yourself time to get to know a man. Please don't rush the process. Please don't rush to be in love. Please don't rush to give men your address, to let them meet your kids, to give them money, to move them in, to take the other men that you may be considering off your roster, to get engaged, to get married, to be intimate with them, and then taking it a step further to be intimate with them without protection. Ladies, please, please, please do not rush this. It's not possible to know someone in a couple weeks. It's just not. I don't care how it feels. It's going to feel like you know him. It's going to feel like y'all are connected and like you knew each other in another lifetime and you're finishing each other's sentences. There's going to be times where it feels good like that, but you don't know him yet. Okay? Give yourself time to get to know him. Give yourself time to thoroughly vet, to observe how he moves in certain situations, to see how he is with his friends and family, to see what others have to say about him, to see how he is on the job, to see how he is when you all encounter difficulties or when he's frustrated or mad with you or something's going on with him internally, how he handles that and how he handles you while he's handling that. Give yourself time to collect the important information you need to make a wise decision for yourself, especially when you have kids, because the kids are going to be impacted as well as you. So you can't afford to throw out the wisdom, throw out the information, the intelligence, the common sense, the important stuff that you need to gather to make an informed decision on who you're going to be with. You can't afford to throw that stuff out or to try to shortcut it or to assume I know what I need to know because it feels good. You cannot be led by your feelings. Accept how you feel, but understand that's just one component of several that need to be part of your decision-making process. It's not all based on how it feels and the vibes and the attraction. Understand there's a lot of things that are influencing the vibes and the attraction. Part of it is your hormones. Part of it is your history, how you were raised, how you were treated by your parents. Part of it is what you're used to. It's not all logical, and logic belongs in your decision making in love. Logic belongs in your dating process. Logic belongs in your vetting process. Without it, you are guaranteed to make an unwise decision. Without it, you're guaranteed to be setting yourself up for unnecessary headache and heartache. Now, disclaimer, there's going to be something you don't like about everybody. There is no perfect man. Okay? There is no way to guarantee that the man you do choose, even after you thoroughly vet him and give him a year, that he's not going to change, that he's not going to act out of character, that over the course of, say you all have a 20-year relationship, that he might not be a different person at the end of the 20 years than he was at the beginning of the 20 years. There is no eliminating risk in love. There's always going to be a risk. But what you can do is mitigate the risk the same way a company who's loaning you money will mitigate risk by what? Looking at your history. They run your credit. They see how have you acted with other creditors. Do you usually pay back money? What are your spending habits like? What's your income like? Let us look into you as much as we possibly can before we make a decision. Do we want to put ourselves out there and take a chance on you? Same thing. If companies lended you money based on you coming in and having a good story and looking good, There would be so many companies that are bankrupt because they would lend to people that they shouldn't lend to. Women need to take that same mindset and say, hey, I need to take some time to assess this guy, get to know him, not just jump out the window with my feelings or emotions in this couple weeks that it's feeling good and things are intense and we're talking all the time and he's love bombing me and whatever else. No, give yourself time. And it doesn't mean you need to be guarded. It means you need to be mindful. It means you need to be logical and say, I like you, but I'm also still getting to know you. It's a little soon to be in love. It's a little soon to be, like I said, sharing money. It's a little soon to be being physically intimate when I don't know your birthday. I don't know your favorite color. I don't know your last name. I don't know your address. I don't know your phone number by heart. I don't know your parents' names. Don't rush based on how you feel. Feelings are fleeting. They're only a small part of the equation. If you really want to make wise decisions and you want to stop setting yourself up for heartache and pain and taking yourself through the ringer unnecessarily, be more thoughtful and mindful in how you date. Don't rush the process. Don't be in a rush to be in love. Okay, the right man for you, he's going to respect the process. He's going to be checking you out the same way you're checking him out and observing you the same way you're observing him. He's not planning on going anywhere. He's going to look at it like, you know what, if I really see a future with you, there's no need to rush. We don't have to be in the future right now. We can let this unfold and enjoy each other. We can enjoy dating. We can enjoy all the stages of we just met, we're dating, we're courting, we're engaged, we're married. He's not trying to rush through all of that because what is the rush? If you're enjoying getting to know each other and spending time, there's no need to rush. And don't think because you've had a couple conversations that you know everything you need to know, because again, you don't just know from talking, you need to observe as well. You need to see if actions and words align, because you don't go by what someone says, you go by what they do. Men can tell you one thing and do another, and you better believe that what he does is what he truly aligns with, is what he truly believes, and what you should trust, not what he said. People can say anything. But again, just because you talked about kids, just because you talked about exes and money and providing and spiritual beliefs and all of that, you need time to observe how he moves. So please just be mindful of that. I didn't want this to be a super long video. I'm probably going to try and download it and post it on my YouTube page. So hello to everyone watching on YouTube. If you'd like to join my Facebook group, this is where I'm actually broadcasting this live right now. It is on Facebook. It's called the Ladies Lounge. I believe you can just search it and you'll find it. If not, it should be in my link tree on my YouTube homepage. But I really just felt like I needed to come online and talk about this. I even paused the show. I have it paused on my TV right now. I'm going to go back and continue to watch it. But just seeing these women and men's emotions and the emotions of their family as they're bringing someone forth saying, we're going to marry each other, we're in love, I love and I'm committed to your daughter or your son, and they don't know each other. And, you know, spoiler alert, I guess some of these couples, we already know that they broke up before you even reach the finale of the series and see who actually gets married. And I think just historically, a lot of the couples on these little dating shows, they don't work out. A lot of couples in real life don't work out for a variety of reasons. But again, like, I personally don't take saying I love you lightly. I don't take commitment and being engaged and being intimate with a man lightly. So if you're not someone who thinks that that's just something to throw around without meaning, don't allow yourself to be given over to your emotions where you override your logic that says, hey, I still need to get to know you. I really like you. I'm enjoying our time together. It seems like we're aligned. It seems like we're on the same page. But also still be leaned back with your energy. Still keep your brain online. Don't just be all in your feels and give yourself a chance to see how they move over time and in different situations. And then you can start drawing some conclusions. See if what they told you and what they do match up. See how it aligns with you. Observe it without trying to push for a certain outcome. Because if you want it to fit, you can make it fit. If you want him, you can justify anything. You can make anything okay. But that's not what you want. And that's not wise. And there's no rush. There's no need to rush. I say always give it a year. Before you start thinking, okay, this is someone that I can marry, even if you're asking the right questions, I think a year is wise. Especially when you have things that are important and valuable, when you have something to lose. You have kids, you have your own home, you have a career. You're not just coming into it with nothing. You have your own stuff. Like you need to make a wise decision. You need to be careful who you give yourself to and who you give access to your life. You need to be mindful. Treat yourself like you're valuable. Treat having access to you as though it should be exclusive and should be thoroughly vetted. These jobs are requiring clearances and extensive background checks, and they're doing more with who they hire than a lot of women are doing on who they date and procreate and marry and have kids with. We have to be more careful and more mindful, because honestly, a lot of the things that men do, a lot of these sociopaths and narcissists and players and men who are crazy and controlling and abusive and whatever else, if we would give it time, we would see. If we would not be in a rush to lock it down, to be in a relationship, to be committed, to be in love, to be sold, if we gave it time, we would see the signs. People can't keep up a facade forever. So if you're mindful, you're paying attention, you will see what you need to see, and then you can excuse yourself. And it will be less painful because you're not so emotionally invested. You're not overly attached. You haven't allowed your imagination to run away with you, where you've already imagined you guys getting married and having kids and buying a house, and you've told everybody, told all your girlfriends, told your family. So now it's a little harder to walk away. Like, don't do that. You know, we're women in our 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s. Like, at some point, you got to know better and not approach this like a young woman who doesn't know anything, who's green when it comes to dating. Like, a lot of us have already been through heartbreak. A lot of us have already been deceived and misled by men, mistreated. You don't have to go through that again. So I just wanted to say that. If you're just tuning in, hello. Thank you so much for popping in on my live. I'm just about to end it right now, but you can go back and watch the replay. And I love you all. I'll be doing more lives and videos soon. Share your thoughts. Feel free in the comments. And I will talk to y'all soon. And take care. Bye for now and have a good week.